Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If we can get 70 to 85% of our population vaccinated and get to what we would hope would be to a degree of herd immunity, which really is an umbrella or a veil of protection against the community, where the level of virus is so low, it's not a threat at all, then at that point you could start thinking in terms of not having to have uniform wearing of masks. But we're certainly not near there yet.
Dr. Fauci. He's not very good at picking and throwing things out there at all. He's not. Still said there was going to be a vaccination for HIV. That was his goal. Said, yeah, we have it by the mid-'80s to late 80s. I think we're still far from that. He thinks the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. So he's not good at this. We need to get to a certain level, yes. And why it matters is because, none of us want to wear the damn mask anymore. I'll let you guys in a little thing that Chad Benson does here. I've got a giant room that is basically become my golf central here. So in between segments, before the show, when I have a little break, I go out here. I got a 3-iron. I can swing it fully, and I've got those little foam balls, and I whack and hack them. But I had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't have my mask. I'm like, screw it, whatever. The people gave me dirty looks down the hall. Like, I had done something, and it's like but early in the morning. Like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? You're walking by me in the hallway. What do you think I'm going to do to you? Stop being such a sheeple. It's not going to happen. But people are frustrated everywhere I go. Less masks at times. I get it. People are frustrated. And part of that is because people feel like they've been lied to over and over again for the last year. Oh, it's 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We can have respect for each other. I wear my mask 99% of the time places I go. I do. Every once in a while I'll forget a mask when I'm running to the bathroom or just just get over yourself. What do you think is going to happen? Getting to herd immunity is important. It's not going to happen overnight. Stop with the predictions. Just give us the outright truth. We should be big enough to handle the truth. Here's the truth. I don't know when we're going to get there. Some states may get there a little bit earlier. Some states it may take a little bit longer. Some states may say halfway through, screw it, our numbers are down. If you don't want to wear a damn mask, don't wear a damn mask. Get back to normal and live in your life. Treat us like adults. They treat us like children, and you wonder why we act like children.
When do I think that would occur? It's very difficult to predict, but if everything falls into the right place and we get this under control, it is conceivable that you might be able to pull back a bit on some of the public health measures as we get into the late fall of this year. But there's no guarantee of that.
No, there's no guarantee. Because it's nature. Producer Phil, I know you're right there. What will nature do to you?
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up. Nature will do nature things. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. We're trying to control something that we can't control. So rather than trying to figure out how we can control the virus, it's just easier to control the people. We'll change the way that you operate. We'll change the way you think. We'll do all of this stuff to get you. It's not going to work because much like nature, human beings have human nature, and eventually they'll push back. By now, you know that smoking causes cancer. 40, 50 years ago, my mom smoked. Like, she's a heavy smoker. They didn't know. They were lied to. Remember when it came out? I think it was the 80s. It was like, oh, my God, they lied. And then the Surgeon General, was it Bork or whatever? I don't know who it was on then the cigarette packet said that. You smoke now, you know what you're getting into. You know what you're getting into now. You do. This is where Biden needs to step forward and say, look, here's the deal. We're going to give you a few months. We're going to get this opportunity for everybody to have it. Then after that, we're going back to our lives. And if you choose not to get it for whatever reason, religion, maybe it's an issue that has to do with your immune system and allergic reactions. Okay, totally understand. Or maybe you think it's going to change the way you feel about God, or you're going to grow a tail, or you may explode. Also fine, but you know the risk. You do. It's time to start getting on. We're 13 plus months into this thing. It's time to start getting on. And it's time that the leaders start actually getting out there and telling everybody, we're not going to live like this forever. This is where we're headed. This is what it's going to look like. These are the chances you have. And after that, you're on your own. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Still waiting for that big stimulus.
I know some in Congress think we've already done enough to deal with the crisis in the country. Others think that things are getting better and we can afford to sit back and either do little or do nothing at all. That's not what I see. I see enormous pain in this country. A lot of folks out of work, a lot of folks going hungry, staring at the ceiling tonight wondering, what am I going to do tomorrow? A lot of folks reaching the breaking point. And I believe the American people are looking right now to their government for help.
Well, their government caused a giant bunch of this mess. So, yes, they're looking for help. How much help? Well, that can be debated. $1,400. I think we're going to get that in some way, shape, or form. Outside of that, I don't know what else they're going to do. I don't. You need to open up. You need to allow people to get back to work. You need to give people and empower people to have personal responsibility. Well, some people can't be responsible. Yes, some people can't, but you can be responsible for you. I can't worry about the person next to you. That's what I always tell Jack. That's their problem. I'm right now responsible for you, and I empower you to be responsible and make good choices. My son's 10, right? I expect 10-year-old choices. I tell him, you know what I want you to give me? 12-year-old choices. Think, should I do this? You be responsible for you. The government bailing you out, they love the fact that they're fighting for you to get you more money. We're going to give you a $3,000 tax credit per child. What do you think about that? On top of that, if they're under 2, we're going to give you $3,600. I'm like, oh my God. Anything else? Do you want to raise the child? Right now, we need help in places where industries have been absolutely destroyed. We need help in places where industries, even if you open up today, it's going to take a while to build back. But if you think this is the last time they're going to come and go, you know what, we need more money, you're fooling yourself. We need to look how we take this on in a real responsible way. And let's not forget for a moment, we haven't spent all the money from the last one. We still have like $1 trillion out there. They're asking for more money when they haven't spent the last of the money. And it's not like, well, there's only $40 left in the kitty. No, there's plenty. Targeted, responsible, real. Shouldn't be that hard. They'll screw it up. That's what they do. They'll overspend, underdeliver, and frustrate us all. Welcome to the world of government. Welcome to the world of government. And we're fighting over how much should we give the states? What about minimum wage? We're going to talk about minimum wage in a little bit. Let's raise minimum wage. Oh, my God, that debate that goes on and on. Frustrating. How about we deal with what's in front of us right now? You're trying to figure out how to get over the wall 5 walls from now. Let's figure out how we get over this wall first. Then we'll address the other wall, which we really can't see from here. But that's what they're going to do. And all of that is going to be going on while they're trying to figure out how to impeach Donald Trump again.
Madam President, I'm pleased that Leader Schumer and I were able to reach an agreement on a fair process and estimated timeline for the upcoming Senate trial. This structure has been approved by both former President Trump's legal team and the House managers because it preserves due process and the rights of both sides. It will give senators as jurors ample time to review the case and the arguments that each side will present.
Yeah. Here's my give a care meter. Don't. And I'll tell you why I don't care. People say, well, that's not a good attitude to have. I'll pay attention to it, but I won't pay attention. I'm not going to focus on this. A majority of Americans, yeah, Trump should be convicted. Yeah, Trump shouldn't be convicted. But you know what a majority of Americans do? They're moving on. They've got other cares in their life that are first and foremost the things that matter most to them. The old saying is, oh, the world doesn't revolve around you. It does. Your world revolves around you. A political kabuki theater that is going to happen with up to 32 hours of them arguing and laying out a case, and then up to 8 hours for each side, 4 hours for each, but 8 hours total of them rolling out there and going out and then having you cross-examined if there's no witnesses, but they're still going to talk, and the senators and blah, blah, blah. And then we're over it. How are you helping us get the vaccination out? How are you helping us move the ball forward so we can reopen and get people back to work? How are you doing those things? Because you caused the mess by overdoing it at times, by telling people, you can't travel, you can't do this, we've got to do that. Now, it's time for you to focus on this. It's my Twitter question of the day. We're going to talk about it. How much do you actually care about the impeachment? And by care, I mean, are you paying attention? Does it matter? I'm not saying there shouldn't be a discussion about things, but does it matter on a day-to-day basis at this moment in time? Once again, we're trying to get over a wall, but there's other walls in front of us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, your Instagram, Chad Benson Show TV's YouTube. By the way, just to let you guys know, it's National Pizza Day. Normally I tell you on Tuesdays to eat tacos. Today I'm going to tell you to eat pizza. Unfortunately for me last night, I was unaware and I had pizza. So I might do it 2 days in a row. I don't know. I'm that kind of person. All right, home title loan. So home title lock is great. And it's so funny because, cyber criminals are everywhere. And they are everywhere. And this is happening more and more. It's not just about the point where somebody tries to steal your identity. Imagine they don't steal your identity. They steal your house. They go online, spend a few bucks, look at all your stuff that's public record. They forge your signatures, get a fake notary, sign the house over to them, start taking out loans. By the time everything's said and done, several months down the road, you start getting nasty phone calls and letters in the mail, and you're defaulting on loans that you didn't even know you had. Oh, God, you're going to be evicted. You go to court, that costs you thousands upon thousands of dollars, and at the end of the day, you're still going to have to pay it back. So what do? You get home title lock. Anything happens to your title, they alert you. If somebody goes in and adds a comma, if there's a period added, whatever it is, they alert you to what's going on. That doesn't happen now. It's easier to do this than to steal a car, and the profit is immense. Protect your home now with Home Title Lock. Go to HometitleLock.com. Check it out. Register. See if you've been a victim. See if somebody's even looked at it. Simple and easy. Use code radio. Get 30 days free protection in case something's happened. Check it out for yourself. HometitleLock.com. Code radio. HometitleLock.com. Code radio. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
So the NFL Super Bowl the other day, we know what that happened, right? Tom Brady wins again. Ratings aren't in. The ratings aren't in. Bizarre, strange delay. Nobody knows what the deal is, but the ratings aren't in. And why it's interesting is, so the way that it rolls out is you advertise, and they charge you top dollar for that advertisement. This year was a little bit different. We've had the pandemic. You saw a bunch of big sponsors pull out and say, you know what, we'd rather put our money into other things at this moment in time rather than advertise our stuff. So you saw some of that. But you're guaranteed a certain amount of essentially audience for the amount of money you spend. And Nielsen has jacked the pooch. So CBS has come out and said about 97 million people watched the game across all their platforms, which is a huge drop from last season. So I don't know what the real story is. Last year was 102 million for Fox across their platforms, but it's not a good look. It isn't. And when you don't give that kind of audience, you have to sometimes pay back some of that loot. And people are hurting already in the advertising world. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. She was a star, that's for sure.
The world is stopping to remember Motown great Mary Wilson. A publicist says she died suddenly, and it comes just days after the Motown group with lead singer Diana Ross marked its 60th anniversary. In 2014, Wilson looked back.
We came from a time when, as black people, you didn't dream about becoming a star. You didn't dream about making money. It was all about being a human being, being respected, being equal.
Motown founder Berry Gordy called Wilson a major member of the Motown family, a trailblazer, a diva. Mary Wilson was 76 years old.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Diana Ross, it was Diana Ross and the Supremes for a lot of people, but originally it was the Supremes. And then Berry Gordy changed the name in 67 after they were already a massive group and said, hey, we're going to be Diana Ross and the Supremes, which you would imagine egos, divas. You don't think there would be tension? There was huge tension. Right? I mean, could you just go back and think, okay, what if they said, all right, we're going to be Paul McCartney and the Beatles? Ooh, well, that wouldn't have worked. No. Divas. So Berry Gordy did it. Florence Ballard, she was taken out. Essentially said, you're done. They replaced her with somebody else, with Cindy Birdsong. And they had some hit singles after that, but then Ross left the group. And it was just, but she was a star. She was. At 16. Think about that, too. That's the kind of star she was at 16. They were so young. When you go back and look at those Motown, you think, well, they've got to be in their 90s. They're not. She was only 76. You're like, oh, yeah. Like, she was super young when they became superstars. And then, much like Diana Ross, became a super diva. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We'll talk about the poll question I got up about how much you're paying attention to the impeachment. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You're going to see the House managers serving as storytellers here. You're going to see a lot of video. You're going to see them trying to tell a story about what happened starting even before Election Day, where President Trump starts talking about voter fraud and that the language increasingly becomes more incendiary.
Your actions are your actions. The guy that shot up Scalise and everybody at the congressional softball or baseball practice with the Republicans, I don't blame that on Bernie. Did Trump do a lot of things that led up to this and said a lot of stuff? Yes. But if you read into something like David Berkowitz, right, like the dog next door told me to do it, son of Sam, for those who don't know. If you do that, that's a you thing. Was there inflammatory things? Yeah, there was things I didn't like, he said. Did he lie a whole bunch? Yeah. Was there really no proof of any of this? No, not really. Nothing you could point to. I'm not saying that there weren't forces at work. And if you've read the Time magazine thing, for those of you guys haven't, it's 7,500 words. And it just came out. I'll throw it up on the Facebook. It talks about the bizarre world, as she describes it, the cabal of groups that normally wouldn't be associated. Molly Ball wrote this, but come together to oust Trump. Right? So you got Black Lives Matter and the ACLU and the unions, the AFCLIO, ABC, DFG. You've got a lot of, they all kind of come together to take on Trump and to get him out. Is that illegal? No. The media played a part in it. Social media played a part in it. Did Trump have it stolen from him the way that he screamed about it for several months? No. Were there issues inside of this with the way that the election went down? Yeah, there was. Non-elected officials changing things, stuff like that we can have serious questions about, that if you care about elections, you should look at. But at the end of the day, Trump wasn't any more different on that day than other days. Now, I can go back and say there was a lot of stuff I didn't like. The way that he acted, wasn't a fan of. A lot of things he said. But free speech, that's what they're going to argue. I think it's a pretty good argument. But for most of us, I think we're just ready to move on. There's the poll question today. Impeachment part 2. Are you paying any attention? 16% say yes. 12% no. 24% I don't care. 47.8% I'm moving on. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people are looking out there saying, I'm moving on from this. I'm over it. It's time for us to move on. So they'll do their thing. There you go. Have fun. I don't know what you think you're getting out of this. Not saying that you don't hold people responsible, because I absolutely believe you do. But I think there's also a time and a place, and other things are needed at this moment in time when it comes to what's going on in America. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. With all the chaos and craziness of the battle of the coronavirus and the stimulus package, one thing that's dangling out there is minimum wage. Will they or won't they? Should they raise it?
While Republicans want to save as many jobs as possible, Washington Democrats are backing Senator Sanders' demand to move to double the minimum wage. The Congressional Budget Office says this would kill 1.4 million American jobs.
So, would it do that? Now, the CBO is supposed to be nonpartisan. They go, Congressional Budget Office, they look around and say, all right, here we go. We're gonna give you what we believe may happen, obviously, like everything else in life. Results may vary. They say they're going to lose 1.4 million jobs, raise almost 1 million people out of poverty, add about $350 billion to the debt over the next decade or so. Is it good? Is it bad? I think a lot of it depends. Remember, minimum wage is what? It's a minimum wage. You're starting here. This is your starting. This is an entry. You are starting. That's what it was supposed to be for. Hey, you're starting here. Okay, here's where you start. So what is going to happen? Well, what the left would like to think to happen, and what the reality of what will happen will be different. Very, very different.
President supports the $15 an hour minimum wage. I do. The last poll I saw has 62% of the American people supporting it, because at the end of the day, we are in the midst of massive income and wealth inequality. And yet we have literally tens of millions of Americans working for starvation wages. You cannot make it in any state in this country on $9 or $10 an hour. We've got to raise that minimum wage to 15.
You weren't supposed to make it at $9 and $10 an hour unless it was the 70s. That's not, it's minimum wage. It's supposed to be an entry point, especially for inexperienced young workers. Well, companies now, they pay. Look, you want to get ahead in life? Let me tell you what you do. You work hard. Well, that's easy for you to say. You find out, what do I need to do to outperform what's happening here? Majority of Americans aren't on minimum wage. They're not. So what happens in a business when you throw this around as far as minimum wage goes is, well, we had 12 people. I took it down to 8. I just gave people more responsibility and we'll hire less. Well, they got a bump in pay. It didn't really change what's going out. I'll raise prices a little bit And then those other 4 people who lack experience, well, let's get rid of them. Problem solved. Well, that's not very nice. And then we're going to automate stuff that we didn't really have to, but I'll just do that now. Oh, well, that's not. Well, what about, will it help some? Of course. Will it hurt more? Yes, it's going to hurt a lot more people as far as the young. Now, I've always tossed around, if you really have to do this, if this is something you have to do, then as we means test everything, maybe from the age of 16 to like 21, you can have your first few jobs, you can have some sort of special dispensation for, hey, you know, this person, it's their first job, they're only working part-time, they're going to school, it's an entry wage. That's what it is. Call it an entry wage. Go from there. Because as a young person, you're not worth that. This guy or gal over here has been here for a while, and they're making, you know, I'm paying them this, but now I've got to go and pay you that, but you only bring in X amount of dollars a week, and right now while you're learning, you're actually costing me money. Oh, I never thought of that. You don't know until you try. That's the way I think they think they're going to try it. But I think when you go out there and you look, especially small business will pay the biggest price. The Amazons of the world and everybody else, they can afford to do things like this. They'll pass it minimally on to a consumer who won't pay any attention to it because it's not going to raise prices ridiculously overnight. Other companies will probably fare a little bit better, that medium-sized company. But small business, which is truly the engine of this nation, they will pay a bigger price for this. And that's the frustration level that so many people are going to have with this, and they've right to be pissed. It's my company. Are you paying slave wages? You're not paying slave wages. You don't have to work here. Nowhere is there somebody putting a gun to somebody's head. You want to get ahead in life, work harder. Go back to school. Arm yourself with things that make you more valuable to the person across the street than where you are now. They're willing to give you more money. Make it a competition about you and your skill set rather than just go double my salary, but I'm not going to double my output. It's a starting. It was never meant to raise a family of 4. It's a starting wage. Entry level. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Do love hearing from every single one of you. Tell you, as we look around in this chaos and craziness that is the COVID world, we're going through impeachment, we're going through all of this craziness. You just say to yourself, what the hell's going on? I'll tell you what the hell's going on. Life. We're having fun. The world's not bad. I'm not a doom scroller. And we're kicking butt. Our economy will take off again. It is going to happen, regardless of who's in office. Because the American people and human nature will find a way to prevail, to get past this. Government rarely makes it easier, and the majority of the time they make things harder. But we will move forward, and we'll get past this. And I refuse to be one of these people that is always negative. What about Biden? I don't care about Biden. When he does something stupid, I'm not a fan about the immigration. We've talked about it. He thinks he's doing the right thing with this giant stimulus bill. Well, then we'll see it play itself out. The Republicans think they're going to negotiate. We'll see. There's some hills they should die on, and others they should just let go. Pick your fight and pick your battles at this moment in time that you can stay steady with. But most of the people I talk to, they're pretty hopeful for this year. And I think that's a good thing. We'll get through this damn virus. We're going to get past this stuff. And then it's on to greener pastures. And we've learned something here. And it's been an expensive lesson. And a lot of what we've learned is we don't like the government, especially locally, the way that they've governed. Okay. Then start doing something about it. And for a lot of people out there, too, they've taken this opportunity through coronavirus to go, you know what, I really didn't like what I did. Maybe it's time for me to figure something else out. Again, boom. Use it. Run with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Raycon's best earbuds around. There's a guy, entrepreneur, Ray J, who took his love of music, being an entrepreneur, seeing all these earbuds out there and saying to themselves, these things, what are this dangling wires? The stems? I don't like that. And he created Raycon. Best earbuds around, 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, absolutely fantastic, flawless, comfortable fit that's noise isolating. What are you waiting for? You'd spend $200-$300 on earbuds and you're not going to get anything like what you get with Raycon for well under $100. That's how amazing they are. And the noise isolating fit changes everything. Let's just say all things were equal to earbuds. The fit matters so much. They're the best fit around. Try it. You'll love it. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. You're going to save an extra 15%. Boom! Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
We may not be going to music concerts because of the pandemic, but we're definitely still listening to music. Helped by new releases like AC/DC's album Power Up, music operations profits for Sony increased 71% in the most recent quarter. That's according to figures reported by Billboard, with most of the gains seen in streaming and physical media earnings. Another sign of changing times, music downloads were down 22% for Sony that same quarter.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've been listening to a little bit more music than before. I like my music because I play, I've got my earbuds, my Raycons. I go out and I do a lot of, when I work out hard, when I play soccer, I wear my earbuds, but sometimes I get too far away from my phone. But because I golf so much, I'm always there. And yeah, I do listen to a lot more music. And AC/DC, a lot of them, they've taken advantage because they've had to adapt. And Sony and a lot of other companies have adapted in a much better way. You take advantage. The one thing that the internet has given us is opportunities that even in a marketplace like this, where you've got a depressed workforce as far as people not being able to be employed or only partially employed, it gives you the opportunity to do other things. And some companies have really adapted to it. Some people really have adapted to it, and other people have struggled with it. Not a surprise. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. I don't know what's going on at baby showers, but I do know this. Go at your own risk, right? That's it. Know that you're taking your hands of your life right into your hands. The risk of the potential of what may happen will lie in your hands.
State police have identified the man who died after a freak accident involving a cannon fired at a baby shower. The 26-year-old from Heartland was standing about 10 feet away when the cannon was lit. It was supposed to create a big flash, noise, and smoke.
Balloons on the mailbox, an overturned cooler.
It was a baby shower that they were at.
The celebration derailed in an instant when a cannon, meant to signal the new arrival, exploded into the crowd instead.
Similar to a signal cannon, the cast material exploded and sent projectiles in all different directions.
So think about that. You're standing there. First of all, you're already kind of pissed because you're at you're like your girlfriend's friend's baby shower, and you're like, oh God, I've been dragged to this thing, whatever. Because guys, we used to not do this. I blame the ladies on this. I'm sorry. This is a you thing. Ask a guy if they're honest with you. They're terrified. But I ask him, hey, do you want to go to baby shower? Now it might be like, is somebody get killed? Maybe. Chad, it's nuts. We had plane crash. Remember the plane crash? Had the crop duster that flipped over. We've had several people that have been killed. I don't know what's happening at these things, but enough. Why do we have them? Why can't you just say, you know what, we'll tell you guys when we have the baby? How about that? For years, we never knew. It was like going to be a surprise. It was it. And then we found out we could find out. But now it's got to be theatrics. It's got to be something big. It needs to be like The Weeknd. Having a baby. It's pyrotechnics. Boom. Where did you get a cannon? Who thought that was got a great idea? I got a cannon. Does it work? We've never fired this. This should go so well. Why are we going to these things? Every year, people die from taking selfies, doing something stupid, and 1 or 2 people get killed trying to figure out if it's going to be blue or pink smoke. And I thought we were supposed to be genderless. Sweet mamma jamma. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's National Pizza Day. Who's your go-to pizza? What's your go-to pizza? Is it local? You like a Papa John's? You like a Barro's? Little Caesars? Or is it some hole in the wall? I joke about Little Caesars. Pizza. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Walgreens telling ABC News starting today, they'll begin accepting appointments for shots as soon as Friday, prioritizing healthcare workers, those over 65, and people with pre-existing conditions. Still, the rollout will be slow, starting in just 15 states and jurisdictions. Available vaccines and appointments are limited.
Yeah, of course. And that's what we need to get rid of. Let's get these people vaccinated who want to be vaccinated. Let's get on with our lives because we're sick and tired of living in this bizarre world of fear that we have built up in so many ways with so many people. I was in line the other day at Burger King. I was like, I need something to drink. Just before the Super Bowl, I went golf for a couple hours. It's kind of warm out here. And I'm like, I'm going to stop and get something to drink. There's a guy behind me, and he's wearing 2 masks because he's double masking now. Remember when you were a kid and they're like, would you like 2 bags? Would you like to double bag? Now it's double masking. And I'm like, there's nobody in your car. Well, what if the person here at Burger King has it? You're buying food from people you don't know. They've touched your stuff. At this point, I don't even know what's going on here. What are you thinking? It's nuts. We just need to get the Johnson & Johnson and get it out there. People are not coming back for their second shot. What did I tell you? People aren't coming back for their second shot because we are a nation of convenience and at times lazy. What? Yeah, sometimes we're a little lazy. Sometimes we'll do the most times human beings will do the most convenient things. Most times they will. Well, it's reluctancy. You know, that's the thing about seniors. Are they being reluctant about stuff?
We've heard everything from short time frame for researching the vaccines and therefore not knowing what the longer term side effects might be to people who felt like this was a conspiracy by the government to put microchips in all vaccinated people.
That's why seniors aren't getting vaccinated? Nah. I would say 50%. Yeah, some of that's true. But I would say 50% of them, 60% of them can't even operate the damn website. It's so confusing. I've heard more complaints about how bad websites are across the country because, well, what? Well, you know, the thing, because they can't, because of the thing, and you got to go on. No, because they're awful. They weren't built for convenience, and we love convenience. We like things convenient. There's a reason there's Cliff Notes. Wow, this book's 400 pages. The Cliff Notes are 65. I'll take that. Is it telling me everything I need to know? Yeah, I don't need to know the other stuff. I don't need a description of what kind of beautiful day it was. Tell me the things I need to know. We're a nation of convenience. I joked early on, if you want to vaccinate everybody, put it at a Starbucks, put it at an In-N-Out Burger, put it at a place in your city, your state that is very popular amongst the people that they go to almost out of habit on a daily basis. Everybody will be vaccinated. If you were at Starbucks today, or In-N-Out Burger, or McDonald's, or wherever, and they're like, hey, we're vaccinating people today. Would you like a vaccination? You're like, well, I came here for a milkshake, but yeah, okay. Chick-fil-A. All right, yeah, we can do that. And it's a one shot. That's why Johnson & Johnson will do so much better. One shot. We're in, we're out, we're done. In, out, done. Moving on. And that's what people want. We want time frames. We don't want to, we got to flatten the curve. We've stopped flattening the curve. I don't know how big the curve was. Not quite sure about the size of this curve, but it was huge. People want to get back to work. People want to get back to the things that they were, well, we all want that. No. People are looking to the government to solve the issues that in many cases government caused. Get it done. That's what you're there for. And let's start to move on with our lives. And by the way, stay out of our lives now. Stop telling me, they tell you, put a mask on. Isn't it weird? All right, so here's I want to soak this up for a second. I was thinking about this last night. You're telling me I've got a mask up. And because I respect the people around me who I love here, some of the people I absolutely do everything. By nature, I'm a creature that is very much a social distancer, so I don't really worry about that. I have one neighbor to the side of me about 30 yards, and then the next neighbor is I don't even know where. So I'm a social distancer by nature, so I'm not really worried about that. I don't go out and do a lot of stuff. I work 17 hours a day. So I'm not worried about those things. But you're telling me I should mask up. You're telling me what I should and shouldn't do in certain situations. You're trying to control all of those things. Well, yeah, that's what the government should be doing. No, but people out there, don't we have a choice, Ms. Beauty? Well, yeah, choice. Well, now you're being weird. No. What if I wanted to sell my kidney? It's my kidney. Why can't I sell my kidney? It's my choice. Nobody's forcing me. Somebody wants to give me $50,000 for a kidney. I can help them out. They can help me out. Well, that's just stupid. No, it's not. It's government is playing a game. And this is all about I think most of it was with the good hearts. They were trying to do something. And I think for a lot of people in government, they thought they were rescuing the many. We're saving the many. We're saving the people who can't save themselves. And then they turned it into, a great article the other day about why can't blue states get it right when it comes to the vaccination? Well, it's simple. You've made this all about equity rather than say, hey, everybody wants to get vaccinated. Let's get vaccinated. You're trying to make it about equity. You're trying to make it about, well, this amount of people should, or if you're part of this group, it's so ridiculous. Because government gets involved and then they do something like this over and over again, and everybody just shakes their head. But they'll go back to it. We got to save so many people. Why do you have to save everybody? Right? Why are we trying to save everybody? I've always been curious about why we try to save everyone. And it doesn't matter if it's, you want to take grab Jim, he's going to fall off the ladder. Well, Jim probably knows he's going to fall off the ladder. But if Jim does something stupid, that's Jim's issue. I was trying to say, I don't want to, we better take down, we better take down all this disinformation. They want to have a reality czar. Did you see that? A reality czar. Yeah, like somebody who helps with disinformation. I don't want to save you from being stupid. I don't feel that's my job. I'm going to give you all sides of a story. I'll give you my opinion on it. You do the research. But if you get sucked into something, that's you. If you believe the earth is flat, that's you. It drives me crazy. But it's not just about coronavirus or all of it. There's so many things that go into this, and it's so frustrating. I mean, here's a perfect example of somebody who is threatening to sue. This is a woman who ran out of hairspray, so she used the best thing she could find after that, Gorilla Glue. I said Gorilla Glue.
Hey, y'all. My hair has been like this for about a month now. It's not by choice. No, it's not by choice. When I do my hair, I like to, finish it off with the little got-to-be glue spray. Just to keep it in place. Well, I didn't have any more, so I used this Gorilla Glue spray. Bad idea. Look, my hair, it don't move. You hear what I'm telling you? It don't move. I've washed my hair 15 times, and it don't move.
You're not supposed to use Gorilla Glue as hairspray. You're not. People are now like, well, they're doing an online fundraiser for money to get her, now a plastic surgeon stepping up, which is nice. She went to the ER and they tried some stuff, but apparently just hurt her scalp. And there's a cautionary tale of stuff you don't do. In the old days, it was like, wow, they tried to pet the giant monster and it bit us. Let's not do that again. Nowadays, we're like, let's go over and try it again. It's crazy. She's threatening to sue. Choices have consequences in all things. Gorilla Glue. She used Gorilla Glue. You shouldn't make fun of people like that. I'm not making fun of her as a person, but her choices? Yeah, I'll make fun of that. You made a poor choice. Now you're going to sue? Why? How is it Gorilla Glue's problem that you use their product, which is not for hair, on you, and now we have to have disclaimers at the bottom of everything. You sell a car, person's driving down the street, it says closed track. You're like, you're selling me a car. Do not try this at home. Then why am I going to buy your damn car? So I can't drive it? It's insane. We're always protecting everybody and the vulnerable for everything. And I get that there's times that we need to protect some, but we've overdone it. And that's why we get in the mess where we close everything down and we're not allowed to have outdoor dining. Okay, you can have that, but you can't have TVs outdoor. What do you mean can't have TV? Like, I can't be at like a restaurant and they can't have a TV outside? Why? What would that do? No trick-or-treating. People will complain. All right, trick-or-treating. Based on no science or some science, we're protecting people. Stop it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. She used Gorilla Glue as hair spray. She used Gorilla Glue. By Gorilla Glue, their sympathy, everybody's like, they tweeted their sympathy. No, they didn't. They were trying not to laugh. They said, we're sorry to hear about your unfortunate incident that Ms. Brown experienced using spray adhesive on her hair. We're glad to see in a recent video that Ms. Brown has received medical treatment from her local medical facility and wish her the best. And then it goes on and says, do not get on eyes or skin or clothing. It says it on the warning label because her stupidity may cost them money. My goodness. Car Shield, don't be stupid and be caught without this. You're driving. Check engine light comes on. Wah, 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 wah. Maybe it's winter. Turn on the air conditioning heater thingy-mabobber and it don't work, right? You're not getting what you need. Or it's summer and all you get is heat. You don't want that. So where Car Shield comes in. When a car has 5,000 to 150,000 miles on it, whether you're worried about your engine, your transmission, the electronics in your car, the windows, the heat, the air, any of it, Car Shield has a plan that's right for you and fits you and your car. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And that shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. It is simple and easy. Over 1 million drivers Car Shield has helped. That's why they're America's #1 auto protection company, and they want to help you protect your car and protect your wallet. Call them today, 800-665-2157. 800-665-2157. Mention code Benson, save you 10%. Or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use that code Benson to save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right, let's take a look at what's trending. So Twitter's different, right? Twitter's one of those things where you go there. It's a little bit more political at times. That's where we really key off on one another. Apparently for their hatred or just not really, for whatever reason. I've never really understood the thought process that goes into what happens in a lot of these things. But let's see here. No. National Pizza Day is trending. Yeah. Marty Schottenheimer, former NFL coach, passed away, age 77. That's trending. Little bit of impeachment. Oddly enough, not a ton is trending with that. And I get it. I think people are over it. I think people are looking around and they're exhausted with it. They're exhausted with, I think there was so much Trump. For whether you love Trump or you don't love Trump, for just 5 seconds, put yourself out there where you think, it has been quiet for the last several weeks since he's not out there 24/7 and the media is not going crazy and railing on him. He's not railing on them. They're not yelling at each other. He's not tweeting insane things or whatever. It has been quiet. I don't like the fact that he's off Twitter, even though I rarely saw anything tweeted. But in saying that, a little quiet. That's all. Otherwise, it's not a ton. Like, it's just a really quiet thing. But you head over, and this is what I like about Google. When you go to Google and you search there about the things that are trending, it's always different. Mary Wilson's trending. Obviously, she passed away, co-founder of one of the founding members, co-founder of the Supremes. Bitcoin yesterday. 1 million people looked at it. What's next for Bitcoin? Because, obviously, Elon Musk threw a ton of money at Bitcoin. It's now over $48,000 per Bitcoin, an all-time high. Jojo Siwa. This is how big impeachment is in the minds of people. Impeachment had about 50-plus thousand searches yesterday on Google. Jojo Siwa, who is an influencer. She's a young girl and a YouTuber, actor, I guess. She came out a couple weeks ago. She's gay. Like, I don't really, whatever. I don't care. But she had like 300,000 people were searching that. That just shows you where, like, Alaskan Bush people had more searches on Google than impeachment. And I think that's where we are. That's kind of where we are at this moment in time when it comes to impeachment. Not that it's not important in holding people accountable, but I think a lot of people are just over the entire thing, felt like we've been through this before, and we're still in the midst of the pandemic that includes coronavirus and bad governing. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The rules are set for the historic and second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump, each side getting 16 hours over 2 days to make their case. If impeachment managers decide they want witnesses, there will be a vote.
President Trump's lawyers have agreed to a bipartisan resolution to govern the structure and timing of the impending trial.
Senators now becoming jurors as Trump faces one article of impeachment accused of being singularly responsible for the January 6th deadly attack on the Capitol.
So there's that. I'm going to give you guys a snapshot. They lay out a case. The other side lays out a case. Okay? That's the way that it's going to go. And you're going to have people. They're called managers. You know what they are?
You're going to see the House managers serving as storytellers here. You're going to see a lot of video. You're going to see them trying to tell a story about what happened starting even before Election Day, where President Trump starts talking about voter fraud and that the language increasingly becomes more incendiary.
Yeah. Like, you could talk about voter fraud. You're allowed to. You believe there was voter fraud? Yeah. Can you prove it? Well, you've tried to go to court. In many cases, you didn't even claim voter fraud when you got there. In some cases, you weren't allowed to, as you say, show evidence. But even when you were in there, you weren't claiming voter fraud. You were trying to stop stuff from happening. I don't think people care. I just don't. And it's not, and it goes back to not caring because there are other more pressing issues in people's lives. COVID, the fallout of COVID, the not enough vaccines, the health of somebody in your family, the health of you, the health of your business, the health of your checking account and bank account, the health of your family based on the fact that you're struggling to pay the bills on a day-to-day basis and you're worried that you're not going to have enough money at the end of each and every month to cover the things you need to cover. That's more pressing. This is about them, not about you. Said my piece. We're moving on. What's happening in Florida?
Shocking case of computer hacking in Pinellas County, Florida. Investigators are trying to hunt down the person who tried to poison a public water supply remotely.
According to investigators, a plant operator monitoring the water plant in the Tampa Bay city of Oldsmar noticed computer breaches starting at about 8 a.m. Friday morning. The hacker was controlling the computer system's mouse and was able to increase the level of sodium hydroxide in the water supply from about 100 parts per million to more than 11,000 parts per million.
That's insane. That is insane what they were trying to do. The county said, look, direct harm to the 15,000 or so residents of Oldsmar plant for drinking. They have other safeguards. But somebody tried to hack into the water system. These are little things that we don't think about that. Think about that for a second. You've got the system. You think you're on blast. Everything seems to be real cool. We're doing our thing. And then lo and behold, something starts happening. And then we look up and sweet mamma jamma, somebody is trying to poison the people through a hack.
Sheriff Bob Galtieri.
This is obviously a significant and potentially dangerous increase. Sodium hydroxide, also known as lye, is the main ingredient in liquid drain cleaners.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, if ingested in large amounts, sodium hydroxide can cause vomiting, chest, and abdominal pain. Fortunately, a plant operator immediately reduced the levels back to what was safe. Secret Service and FBI cyber units are trying to determine who is behind the hack, whether it was someone here in the U.S. or overseas.
Now, the Russians tried to do this in November. Hacker from Russia hit a water utility in Illinois with an attempt to cyber hack last year that the Israelis actually have said that there's been issues with their water supply when it comes to Iran. Hacking is nothing new. It's become more sophisticated as we turn more and more things on to computers that we used to do, humans used to do. It's more safe-proof in a lot of ways, but it's also more vulnerable in ways that we may not recognize because you don't see it. It's subtle. This didn't happen to be subtle. I read an article today. Like, all I have to do, I'm going to read you this. When you talk about hacking, I'm just going to read you this, and you're going to be like, wow, that is crazy. Are you guys ready for this one? Hacked robots, sex robots, could be told to kill users. If they can get to the water, then get to your wiener. Chad.
The hacker changed the sodium hydroxide from about 100 parts per million to 11,000.
That's massive. So 100 parts to 11,000. No effect on people adversely. But it shows you, like, when you think about the things that we need to do, cyber warfare is where we're at. We're having a civil war in this country. It has to do with culture. But cyber warfare, James Bond is out. He's out. Big Panda 565 is the new James Bond. Who's that guy? He's a guy that's 5'8", weighs 140 pounds, wears underoos, thinks that Aquaman is not cool, but Flash is, and may or may not still live at home and hasn't dated yet, but is hopeful, likes Mountain Dew and Twinkies, and speaks 800 million languages because of the way that he can code, break in, and do everything. Yeah, that's the new James Bond. That's where we need to protect our infrastructure, because our infrastructures are so old. Our infrastructures are so antiquated. And this is where we need to look at the private side of things and bringing people in and going, all right, how do we fix this in a good way? And not just poaching people here and there and offering ridiculous, like, really update. I worry about so much. EVPs and all that. Yeah, come on. Try to poison people in Florida. They're doing that already. Their own selves. They don't need any help. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Homelessness is an issue. It's not one that should be taken lightly. But a bigger issue in a lot of big cities is the way that the governments handle homelessness and the way that people are getting fed up and sick and tired of seeing so much. And nothing gets done. Well, guess what? Some people decided we can't have people here. We're over it. It's our property. It's gross. We don't like what's going on here. It's time to get them to move on. And the city doesn't seem to really want to do anything. So what should we do?
I love you. You love me.
It's been playing for weeks, 24 hours a day, along Palos Verdes Street here in San Pedro.
It's psychological. It is to keep people up. They can't have a quiet space. And it's playing at nighttime, so people literally cannot sleep.
So this was what they wanted to do. This is where they were going. Barney, I love you. You had a bunch of people at a vacant lot run by Jericho Development, and they use it for filming and things like this for, because it's out there in San Pedro. It's a mostly industrial-ish area down by the water, Southern California. And they've just said, all right, we've had enough. We've had enough. We can't do this. You've got a dozen people or so. And what can we do to get you to move? And they know that the city's never going to do anything. They know that. Like, they're never going to do anything. We can do anything we want now. So fine. So we're going to fight back.
It's horrible. It made me, you hear Barney all day long, over and over and over again with these lights, blaring on you. You can't get no sleep at night. You can't talk to anybody.
They said it never stops. It is just all day, every day. And it's really loud.
70 decibels at times, and the music is just the latest.
First the lights went on. They did that a few nights first. Then the music came on, and it was loud. It went down, but it just played the same Barney song over and over and over. That purple dinosaur.
Yeah. That's what they should do, is just have the purple dinosaur out there with a big boombox. Just standing there. Just holding it up. I love you. Well, this is not very nice. We could have empathy. But this is people's property. Like, everybody wants to have empathy for the person who's homeless, and a lot of people who are homeless get there in several different ways, and we never want to talk about, we always make it out to be that it's just somebody who lost their job, and does that happen once in a while? Those people are trying to get back on their feet. They find shelters. They're trying to move themselves back in another direction. These are urban campers, as my good friend Armstrong Getty would say, and I have news for you. Most of these people aren't interested in living in society, and they're fine with this. Well, no, they're not. Yes. I grew up in Southern California. Let me tell you something. And there's a lot of people, you try to help them all day. It ain't going to help. Some have serious mental issues. They don't need the help where, we can get them a job and no, they need serious help inside of a facility. Some have serious drug issues. We know that. But there's just some fringe society of people that, for whatever reason, this is how they want to live. And I don't know why. I don't. I have no idea why. Maybe it's a little bit of drugs, maybe a little bit of mental illness, but it's a lot of something. And there is no help. But this is also people's work and facility. Nobody wants to see crap on their sidewalk from a dog, let alone a human being. People doing drugs, people having sex.
This kind of nonsense is punitive. It's capricious. It's just somebody that wants to, screw with somebody.
The building generating the music is an empty space used for filming and run by Jericho Development.
It's truly psychotic of the owner to do so, torturing unhoused people with the Barney theme song.
I'm traumatized, I guess, from hearing it for so long.
Oh, that's because I have so many friends that I love.
It's always about, with these people. This is my facility. This is my business. It's unused. It's unused because people film there. That's kind of what it is. It's like a studio. Think of it as a mini studio. But even if it was unused, who cares? Not yours. Well, it's not very fair. It's crazy. Yes, and Barney's nuts. It's capricious. It's just not nice. Why don't you take them home and live in your front yard? Never hear you ask that. You're out there going, we're fighting for you, but no, you can't come to my house. Because that fight only goes so far. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Love hearing from you. ExpressVPN. We talk about hacking. We talk about all of those things. Your data is important because your data is you. What you're searching for. All of these things, that stuff is expensive if you only knew how expensive. And you don't get to benefit any of it. They take that, the social media companies and the search engines, and they go and they sell it on to advertisers and other people. Your data is expensive for the people buying it, but you don't get anything out of it. Protect your data. Protect yourself. Get ExpressVPN. Virtual Private Network is amazing. So what happens? First of all, it's one touch of a button. Boom here, boom there. Away you go. You're protected. Whether computer or phone, you can start zipping around. Hide your IP address. Makes your activity and your searches and everything harder to trace and to sell to advertiser. Encrypts 100% of your data. That's what ExpressVPN does. That helps you hide from eavesdroppers on your network. And like I said, simple to use. One tap and you're protected. Inexpensive, to say the least, about 16 cents a day. You go to expressvpn.com/Benson. You visit there. You get a year package. It's 16 cents or something like that a day. They're going to throw in an extra 3 months for a 1-year package. That simple. expressvpn.com/Benson. expressvpn.com/Benson to protect your data today. I love you. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're running my life, bud!
Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
Does the Space Force have the full support of the Biden administration, or is the president at some point perhaps going to try to get rid of it or in some way diminish it?
They absolutely have the full support of the Biden administration. We are not revisiting the decision to establish the Space Force. The desire for the Department of Defense to focus greater attention and resources on the growing security challenges in space has long been a bipartisan issue. As you know, it was established by Congress, and any other steps would actually have to be taken by Congress.
Yeah, Space Force not going anywhere at all. Space Force is awesome. Some of Trump's lasting legacy. Space Force. As we talk about, space it's a race. It's a race to space as far as who can dominate, who can set up stuff, who can get up there and start claiming and putting flags in asteroids and floating it out there saying this portion of this space is ours. Space Force. This is funny. We know what they're called now. They're called Guardians. For those of you guys who don't know, Space Force people are called Guardians. And Guardians of the Galaxy helped a lot of that. But there were other names in Space Force. In fact, there was like 200 plus names they threw out there. Orbitans was one. Novanauts, Rocketeers, Startans, like a Spartan, but a Startan, like a star. Oh, yeah. Here's one. You guys ready for this one? Space operator located elsewhere, or SOL. Oh, my goodness. So there were 2 pages of a total of 400 plus, but Spaceketeer. There's all kinds of whack. Celestrions. Blasters. Somebody put blasters. Come up with Steve. Jim, come up. Kathy, somebody. Blasters! Oh, my. Legionnaires. Don't we have that? Don't we have Legionnaires? And then they give us a disease? I don't think we want that. Space Avengers. Space Folk. Space Elites. Space GI. The Zero Goes. Apparently, we must have had. Everybody's got to put all the way. It's got to be alphabetical. We have to have one letter from everybody. Wookiees, Watchmen, Watcher, Warlords, Warfighters. These are some of the names that they were really seriously looking at. The Final Frontsman. It's got to be gender-free, guys. Don't you guys get it? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. They should have been called Chad Knots. Oh, I like that. It's a Chad Knot. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oh. Apparently we're having impeachment. Feels like something you having for dinner. What are you guys having? I think we're having impeachment. I don't know. I'm going to eat leftovers. Well, it's kind of like leftovers. We had this the other time, and it was like, is this good? Like, take it out? Oh, this impeachment smells awful. Are you sure we should be doing this? Of course. Well, what? Why? Can't we get something else? We got other things. We got the thing with the COVID, and there's a stimulus that's not done because they're too busy arguing over stuff from minimum wage to, nah, it's all we got in the refrigerator is impeachment. Well, tell me why.
The strongest argument the House managers can make is the totality of the circumstances. Fight like hell. Oh, okay, well, their argument is he didn't mean literally fight. He meant figuratively fight. Okay. So the strongest argument the House managers can make is to set the stage for everything that happened. And it actually started happening before the election. This is President Trump setting the stage before Election Day. that he was going to claim voter fraud if he didn't win.
Yeah. And the other side would have, let's go back 4 years if we have to. You don't think that's been happening for 4 years? You don't think for the last 4 years there has been a collective? Read the Time magazine, Molly Ball, she put it out. 7,500 words, talks about the cabal, groups from the ACLU, BLM, social media companies to the AFL-CIO, to the Chamber of Commerce, and all of them who in some way, shape, or form had a piece of a puzzle to try to put together, as well as the media, and went down and took down Trump. Now, he helped in a lot of ways, don't get me wrong. But to make this case fight like hell. Well, I've played on soccer teams. Coach is like, I want you guys to fight like hell. Well, does it mean I want to go out and beat up the fans? Is that? Do I have to fight the players on the field? No. And the case for even before, if he lost, they had to have cheated. I have news for you. The other side would have done it too, because they've been doing it. They've been doing it. And they've challenged before, long before Ted Cruz, long before Josh Hawley, long before Buddy Holly. Gore, Bush, with Kerry, before Gore, and 4 years ago, they challenged. So let's just, you're going to do it. You're going to try to make your argument. Everybody knows what it is. All the while, the rest of us are sitting here going, what are we doing now when it comes to coronavirus? What's the next thing that's going on? How do we go from point A to point B? How many of these damn things are out here? Are we in a first wave, a second wave, a 28th wave? Now there's 700 different variants? My God.
This large third wave that we're now finally coming down from was probably driven in large part by these variants. And given how much more infectious these strains are, I think probably we'll have relatively high infection rates and death rates, unfortunately, until the vaccine takes hold.
How long is that going to be? How many people have really had this? Things we will never know. When are we going to get out of this insanity? Because I see good things out there. I think people feel good. I see more people coming into the office, even here, not so much at our office, but upstairs and downstairs where they've been working remotely for over a year. I see more and more of them coming in. People are feeling better. The death rates have been up, but the infection rates and the hospital rates are going down, which is a victory. And we need to start getting. The vaccines are a must. Not saying you take the vaccine. You do your research. If you're going to take one, which one? Moderna? Pfizer? What are they about? mRNA. It's new stuff. How's that work? It's 2 shots. Johnson & Johnson. Old style. Right? That's old money. Pfizer, Moderna, that's Silicon Valley money. That's new money. This is DNA stuff. This is old money. Johnson & Johnson. But it's 1 shot. 1 shot. All right, let's do it. Let's get people vaccinated who want to be vaccinated. And the people who can't, for whatever reason, it's health issues. Maybe it's a religious thing. Maybe you think that if you take it, you're going to be a druid. I don't know. 666, number of the beast. People are going to follow you around. Again, I don't know what it is that somehow if you do this, that there's a magic switch from Bill Gates that can, turn you into something where you're going to go off and farm for him. I don't know. But at least you had the options. And that last phase for us is, you know what we're doing. You've had the opportunity to do it. You've chosen not to do it for whatever reason. We're now going to be mask-free and living our life. And we go from there.
CVS pharmacies saying they'll accept appointments starting Thursday, with shots going into arms as early as Friday. This rollout comes amid a rush to vaccinate Americans before those new, more contagious strains of the virus take hold. In the fight against COVID-19, there are encouraging signs of progress. Cases, hospitalizations, and positivity rates continue to fall.
CVS, Walgreens, your local pharmacies, slowly but surely, they're going to take little bits and pieces, right? So that's as we roll out more. But the Johnson & Johnson, which looks like it'll be the first week of March is when people they'll start to ship. They're already making it, but that's one shot. That's at your doctor's office. That's at the Walgreens. That's at Walmart. That's at wherever you can get vaccinated for the flu and the shingles. You can go there because there's no special thing that they need. They don't need a special refrigerator. That'll be huge. And it's one shot. It's one and done, and we need that. Big time. People are done. People are frustrated. Human nature is pushing back now. We've been at this a year. Oh, they're just not wearing their masks like they used to. People are tired. They're exhausted from the negativity and every time you turn it on, it's just an avalanche of don't do this, don't do that. They don't want to be controlled. They want to live their lives. They want to make choices. Well, your choice could hurt somebody else. You handle you. That's all that you can do. You make the best choices possible. In life, we all take calculated risk each and every single day. This is one of those things. It's about just saying, hey, we're going to treat you like adults. If people ask you to wear a mask in certain areas, you wear the mask. If you want to go to the park, you don't have to wear a mask. We're not asking you to wear a mask. If you want to take your dog for a walk, Joe Biden, no, I'm not going to wear a mask. I don't take my dogs for walks. I don't. They just one of them runs out all the time and he goes on his own walk, and the other ones they wouldn't. You couldn't get him to walk. This is treat people like adults, and let's be honest, and let's set a date. Not an open-ended, well, we'll try to get us back in school and could be next year, could be. Set a date, put it out there, hit the date, give people options, and live our lives. And as far as the stimulus goes, it's time that we focus on helping the people that need help, not all the other crap in there. We were talking off air about 9 out of 10 people think a stimulus is good. Yeah, but what's in your stimulus? Can we just ask that question? What'd you put in there? Is there some stuff in there that's real? Or is it a lot of different crap with a little bit of money for some people, but a lot of crap for a lot of other people and a lot of money that's being spent uselessly, while we forget the fact that we have a ton of money sitting over here, like $1 trillion almost, that we've not touched from before. So, yeah, we need some help, especially certain industries. Let's focus on that. And as far as bailing out states and other things, that's a wall down the road. We got a wall in front of us. Let's get over the first wall, which is the people, most important. Then we can deal with the subsequent things and obstacles we have to get over. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text. Love hearing from all of you. Plus the amount of money we're spending. Printing all kinds of money. We're talking about inflation. We're talking about minimum wage and what that could do to the economy. There's some good, but there's also some bad. And think micro, not macro, when it comes to small business. There's a lot of things that there could be potential fallout. And I think those are things that aren't being paid attention to because everybody's rushed to save everybody and hand everybody as much as they possibly can. It's nuts. And they're just handing you your money or other people's money. It should drive you crazy. You should be like, shouldn't we be fiscally responsible at some point? And I know the Republicans scream it, but they rarely are. And the Democrats, they don't even pretend anymore. But my goodness, at least pretend like you try, right? Just pretend. Take us on a date. Buy us a rose. That's all I'm saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country, offering you a ton of benefits. From retail to restaurants, to amusement parks and travel, to entertainment and everything in between, as well as benefits like maybe you're over 50 but under 65. Should I take, how do I get life insurance? Well, they've got great ways to help you with that. How do I get health insurance? They got great ways to help you get that and great companies they work with. What about Social Security, Medicare? Maybe you're at that level where you're thinking, should I take it? Shouldn't I take it? How do I sign up for it? They'll walk you through every step and show you what's right for you. They're there to help. On top of that, they're fighting for things like your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, making sure Social Security and Medicare are solvent. Join today. It's like $16 a year. It's a great company. amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad. Join now. amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
Pilot Aura's buy-in was experienced with over 8,500 hours of flight time and 10 years of flying in the L.A. area, but the NTSB finding he suffered from spatial disorientation after entering thick clouds. Without visual cues, it's believed he thought the helicopter was climbing, but it was actually turning and dropping. Lead investigator Bill English.
This maneuver is consistent with a pilot experiencing spatial disorientation in limited visibility conditions.
The NTSB is recommending that pilots undergo spatial disorientation training and that flight recorders be required on helicopters.
Yeah, so that's Kobe Bryant's pilot. Went up in the air, very foggy that day, it was an eerie day. I was in Southern California. And we were in San Diego, and it was very gloomy. There was low clouds. They didn't have any real, I guess I would say, gauges to talk about terrain. He got up there. Normally, you can get through some of that stuff in a quick way, and then you can get above it. Didn't seem to be that way. Then he was disoriented. Didn't know which way he was going, and thought it was going up when it was really going down. By the time everybody realized this wasn't it, it was too late. And the black box, we were talking about it off the air earlier, they don't have black boxes. Where planes, you can get the black box. It's the first thing they always say if a plane goes down, get the black box. They find the black box, they try to rebuild. This is the thing that in many cases will help them rebuild what took place, like solving a mystery or a crime. And with helicopters, they don't have that. It's been a year. It seems like forever. It seems like forever ago, because this last year has just dragged on and on and on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Kobe Bryant, gone, and we lost another one today.
The world is stopping to remember Motown great Mary Wilson. A publicist says she died suddenly, and it comes just days after the Motown group with lead singer Diana Ross marked its 60th anniversary. In 2014, Wilson looked back.
We came from a time when, as black people, you didn't dream about becoming a star. You didn't dream about making money. It was all about being a human being, being respected, being equal.
Mary Wilson was 76 years old.
Yep, 76. She was 16. Supremes came together, and you're like, whoa. Like, what is this all about back in the day? I mean, they were just producing this Motown. It was just a conveyor belt of superstars. And here were Mary Wilson and Diana Ross, and they rolled on out, and you had, it was amazing what they put together. But then suddenly, even when they were massive, they said, hey, we got a great idea. Berry Gordy wants to change the name. We'll make Diana Ross and the Supremes. Like, wait, what? We're huge, right? It's Florence Ballard, it's me, it's this, yeah. And by the way, we put all this stuff together, and we've got and no, we're getting rid of you. We're gonna get rid of Barbara Martin, and Mary, you could stay, and we're gonna add another person, and because people are now upset, but it's Diana Ross and the Supremes, and just it. No, like, could you imagine? It's like, do you think that if it was, I don't know, let's throw it out there, Paul McCartney and the Beatles, that would have went over well with everybody else? Or John Paul and the Beatles? No, it wouldn't have. She was a diva. They were all divas. But she was 16 when they hit stardom. That is, we think about it now because we see so many young kids, but you go back and, so I think sometimes we all think they're like 90 or 100. They weren't. They were babies when they were superstars. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet, text the program. Love hearing from you. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I think if more independents around this country walk out of this impeachment proceeding and believe that the president is responsible and should be held accountable, when you view this as a political proceeding, that I think would end up being a win for them in a sense of accountability.
Yeah, but the problem is independents like me. So you're new to the program. I'm independent. I don't want to be a party to either parties, if you will. I think both of their belief systems have been hijacked by people that look at it like it's their own piggy bank, and they're able to do what they want with it. And it's just, I want no part of that. I look at both of them and I see some good and I see some bad. But at the end of the day, the average independent is looking at other things. Do I think that Trump wanted to overthrow the government? No. Do I think he wanted to figure out a way to make people take a deeper look into some of this stuff? Yes. Do I think he then overstepped his BS when it came to it was stolen? Absolutely. Are there some legitimate things when it came to this last election that we should have serious questions about? And anybody who's an American who believes in our system that we have in our republic, that we should seriously ask some questions about some of the people in some of these states who kind of did their own thing. And I'm not saying anything untoward happened as far as switching votes and stuff like that. What I'm saying is you had non-elected officials making certain decisions that were not constitutional. So we can have that question, and we should have that question, because it's better for all of us that we have a safe and secure election. Do I think Trump ramped it up and he got desperate and then he sounded desperate, did some stuff? But you, at the end of the day, it's you. It's your actions, QAnon guy, wearing the funny hat with the horns, eating your shaman-like diet that you have to have now in jail. You did that. Trump didn't send you a special signal. I think independents are looking at other things. Let's not downplay the incident, but let's also put it in perspective that long before Trump got there, QAnon and the conspiracy theory people had been around and continue to be around. And they're always looking for something. He, in too many cases, legitimized some of it. He brought some of the stuff to the surface that, okay, let's have discussions about it. But you still make your bed and lie in it. As far as you went down there, Trump didn't order you to go down there. Fight like hell is not. He said fight like hell on numerous occasions. I've had coaches say fight like hell. I never once thought, I got to go in the stands and beat somebody up. I didn't like the run-up. I didn't like the way that after the election, even before the election, the screaming and yelling about the fraud and all of these kind of things, I didn't like that. But this, to me, it's we have other issues right now. Not saying we don't deal with it, but I'm saying, constitutionally, can we? I mean, it depends on who you talk to. This person says we can. This person over here says we can't. Both of them are constitutional law professors. So he's not going to be removed because he's not there. Could you censure him? Would that be something better? Maybe. Is this about him not running again in 4 years for a lot of people? I think it is. Some of it may be the Democrats and some of it may be the Republicans. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I'll tell you guys something right now. The battle of monies, the battle of are we going to get monies? Are we not going to get monies? How much money can we have in the stimulus? Who's it going out to? How big's this thing going to be?
I know some in Congress think we've already done enough to deal with the crisis in the country. Others think that things are getting better and we can afford to sit back and either do little or do nothing at all. That's not what I see. I see enormous pain in this country. A lot of folks out of work, a lot of folks going hungry, staring at the ceiling at night wondering, what am I going to do tomorrow? A lot of folks reaching the breaking point. And I believe the American people are looking right now to their government for help.
Well, they're looking at the government saying, A, get out of our way. You're a pain in our ass. You are as much a part of the pandemic as bad governance as the pandemic all by itself. But that's local government. Your state's controlling so much of this. You there, Biden, President of the United States, fix the issue of the vaccines. Tell these states, put these vaccines in people's arms. Get out there and also start telling everybody we're getting back to it. We're going to get back to normal. Put a timestamp and a time date on it. It's going to be this day because we know we'll have X amount of vaccines that will be available and that will have either been used or still available. And it will be your choice to get it or not to get it. But we are not going to be held hostage by people who don't want to get it. And as far as the COVID stimulus goes, let's not be ridiculous. One of the things that's not being talked about is a thing called inflation.
I actually think we're at a point now where we have to be careful. We're almost putting too much stimulus into the market and into the economy. You've got to remember there's still $1 trillion from the first package still unspent. So we're really talking about $3.9 trillion are going into this market, and at a time when the economy is actually quite strong. So the risk here is that you cause inflation when you didn't need to.
Yeah, he's Kevin O'Leary's Shark Tank, smart guy, worth about $500 million. We've got a lot of money that's unspent. We tend to do that. They're already asking us for more money. They're already asking us. We need to be targeted and we need to be smart. I never once cared about the size of government. I've always cared about the competency. I've worked places that have always tried, in the radio industry, that's always tried to downsize. And along the way, the incompetence seems to still be there, and it ends up being a hot mess. I've also worked at places where they grow and expand, but they're competent. They spend wisely. We need to do that. How is it that we're asking for more money when we have $1 trillion we haven't spent?
I don't want to see any more PPP. I personally feel, having lived through that and watched what happened to it, that 50% of it was wasted. And I have a lot of companies that took it that'll go out of business no matter how many PPPs they get, because consumer preferences have changed and they're never going to come back. That's the nature of the digitized economy. America 2.0 is emerging. So I wouldn't put money into that either. No more bailouts for airlines. Business spending will be down somewhere between 20 and 25% for years to come. Why would you fly somewhere when you can do a Zoom meeting instead?
Totally agree. Why would we? Why would I go somewhere? I don't need to go somewhere. Now, there are some things in person that are great. Big negotiations, things like that nature. But the everyday average thing, and it goes with like businesses I'm in now. I've got a business. We have a small little office space, but then we've had bigger ones. We don't need that. Everybody works out of their house. They have their own offices. Pay for a lot of stuff. When we have to, people get together. Outside of that, it's Zoom calls. It's great. This building here, we're deciding, all right, do we really need this much space? I don't think so. I think when we get past this, you know what? We'll have shared space. Maybe you're only in 2 days a week. The rest of the time you're at home. Things are going to change. That's what's out of this entire thing has been, for a lot of people, an eye-opener of like, okay, there's new things to do here. Let's see what we can do. We can change the economy in another way. Let's jump on it and run with it. We don't need so much. We've got the digitized economy. We can use these things for ourselves to not only save money, but to grow.
The restaurant industry will survive on its own. Restaurants grow like mushrooms as soon as we've got this pandemic under control. So a better way to spend on restaurants would be to spend more money on the logistics of getting the vaccine out. Because I can guarantee you when people feel safe again, they will go to restaurants. And believe me, they'll pop right out, just like they've always done for 200 years. It's an industry that bounces back very, very quickly.
Travel industry will have issues, and for years to come. And they're going to consolidate, and the bigger ones will gobble up the little ones. The ones who are financially teetering will be eaten up by the ones who've spent their money wisely, not just through the pandemic, but long before that. So, and restaurants, he's right. I've got a couple of friends who've got several successful restaurants. They've closed a few of them. They're like, we're never going to reopen that. The ones that they knew that like these things, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be fine. They've ridden this thing out, but they stopped throwing money after money. They're like, the minute this is over, I'm open up again. I'll open up as something else. Opportunity will be there. It's the individuals who've lost their jobs that we need to look at. It's the individuals in industries where they're plugging along, but they've been hurt by it. That's why spending money wisely is huge. And then you run out there, and inside this bill, you've got the usual stuff about everybody needs more money, and we need to do this, and let's throw 15%, and how about $15 an hour? Just not a win. Sorry. It's a win for big business because they can withstand it no problems. It doesn't really do anything. They increase a little bit of the price. They cut down a little bit here, but small business will take it in the shorts.
President supports the $15 an hour minimum wage. I do. The last poll I saw has 62% of the American people supporting it because at the end of the day, we are in the midst of massive income and wealth inequality. And yet we have literally tens of millions of Americans working for starvation wages. You cannot make it in any state in this country on $9 or $10 an hour. We've got to raise that minimum wage to 15.
It was never meant for you to live off. It's not meant for you to build a family of four. That's not what it was meant for. It was an entry-level minimum starting to give people with very little experience or no experience the opportunity to work. How many people actually are minimum wage earners? Not many, but they make it seem like that everybody's on a minimum wage. It's a place you start. And if you do get this and you're a Democrat, you should say, hey, guys and gals, I know we're going to get this, but maybe because we can push it through and we'll do it, and at least it'll last a while. And yeah, we don't care that it hurts everybody else. It makes us feel good. But, you know, I know that it's going to cost some people some jobs. And I know on top of that, it's going to add to the debt, and we're going to pull some people out of poverty potentially with it, which will be great. This is all according to the CBO. But maybe we say if you're under, you know, from 16 to like 21, that there's a scale of what you can earn because you're coming in with no experience. So that way smaller businesses can't afford to hire a younger group of people and give them a chance instead of pricing them out. It's about being smart, but nobody does. It's always about this. How do I look? How am I looking? Does this feel great? Everybody, that we're taking care of people. We're getting $15 an hour. We're doubling people's incomes. In some cases, who they're not bringing $15 an hour. You're $6 an hour. I make $1.25 off you, and I take all the risk. Now I got to pay you how much? I'm going to pass it on to the customer. I'm going to reduce my workload. I'm going to go out on top of that and do everything I can to use modern technology to replace some of that. Who gets hurt? The lower skilled or unskilled or new to the labor market. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Raycon, best earbuds around. I love mine. Use them every single day, whether I'm golfing, I'm working out, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like sometimes I just go for a walk for an hour. It's just nice. Get out in the sunshine. And I love having my Raycons. 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, better sound quality, better design, and the fit changes everything. Changes everything. There's no wires. There's no stems. They go right in there. You never worry about them falling out. You never have to worry about that. It's just a game changer. And the price, well under $100. You want the best earbuds around? You want sound quality and design like no other, and you want a fit that changes the game? It is Raycons. Get yours now and save big, an extra 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Get yours now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Let's ignore the fact that my teeth are purple. The most annoying thing, I think, about going to a workout class, I went to a socially distanced hot yoga class. Love hot yoga.
So this is a woman in her car who's upset. She's on TikTok because that's what you do now. You go, it's like, oh my God, I'm upset. So I'm going to go to TikTok, to Instagram, to wherever social media that I have, that I've got enough followers, and I'm going to vent. So she's sitting there eating something. She's mad. She's with the hot yoga workout class, and she's snacking on something, and she's pissed. She's nutritionally an overachiever. That's the best way to say that. Person of size, for those of you out there who don't like that.
But I hate when the instructors go off and say, we're going to, work off all those cheat meals. And they just keep talking about the food you may have eaten and how exercise is just to combat the food that you eat. Food is fuel. It's not something you need to fear, need to work off. Like, they go hand in hand.
First of all, food is fuel. I don't know if Doritos are fuel. Like, I know, it's like I'm having a salad later. That's fuel. That's good for me. I have some vegetables. That's great. But I also know later on I may have a cookie. Like one of these, which one's not, doesn't really belong. Which one of these are not the same? One tastes great, but probably isn't the same kind of fuel. It's about moderation. Some people, she was very upset though, because she goes to a place to work out and they tell her, along with everybody else, not just specifically her, hey, let's work off some of those cheat meals. All right, we continue.
They're not like fighting each other. Like, they work together. You need to eat. Anyways, that's it. That's my rant.
Yeah, we're just done with you. It's about body positivity. No, it's about being healthy. It's about being healthy. Eating a little bit less, working out a little bit more, not starving yourself, and at the same time not overdoing it. It's about the health side of it. But we live in a world now where everybody wants to be told, no, it's totally fine. And I just laugh. She's sitting there bitching as she's snacking away about, it's about fuel. It's about fuel. How dare the trainer tell me not to eat this? Speaking of eating, it's National Pizza Day. Normally I tell you go get a taco, but it's Tuesday, but today's National Pizza Day. So do the right thing and get both. Have a blessed, wonderful day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.